best guide.
His name is Rocky.
And the greatest driver.
His name is Kevin.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Rocky
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
All right, folks, I have some safety rules for you, so please listen up. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red E-cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, throughout the entire tour, please remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, so if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, just reach up and pull that cord, but do remain seated, and please, no smoking on the tour. Now be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. You want to have your cameras ready for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Hold on tight to your phones, people. And last but not least, for your safety and for the safety of those around you, please, no selfie sticks while on the tour. All right, folks, you are now on the road that is taking us into the heart of the oldest still operating film studio in the United States, Universal Studios. We were founded by the gentleman on your screens right there. His name was Mr. Carl Laemmle. He himself, an immigrant from Bavaria, came to the United States in the early 20th century, and on April 30th, 1912, he incorporated Universal Pictures as a business. That date is what officially makes us the oldest studio in town. A couple years later, he founded Universal City, which is a bona fide city. Looking to your right, you're going to see a real live fire station. This is Fire Station 51, keeping us safe each and every day. Let's hear it for Fire Station 51, everybody! Thank you, Fire Station 51. Again, we are a real city. We've got a fire department, a sheriff's department, name, streets, zip codes. We have everything a city has except for residents. No one lives here. That is how we first got our nickname, the most unusual city in the world. Now, when Carl Laemmle first purchased the lot that would become Universal City, it was only about 100 acres or so. Today, we are over 400 acres and still growing. Looking to your left, you'll see some active construction going up. We're constantly enlarging our footprint here, whether it's for new sound stages, parking lots, or also new areas like Super Nintendo World, which your tour guide's very excited about. And this brings us to our first soundstage. On the left, you're going to see Soundstage 12 and getting a much-needed paint job. It is the oldest soundstage on the Universal lot, and some extraordinary film moments have taken place in that soundstage. Let's take a look. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with what exactly a soundstage is, you're actually surrounded by them right now, okay? Very large buildings, sort of look like warehouses, right? Large buildings, very high ceilings, approximately 95 to 98% soundproof. And inside of these sound stages, you can create whatever type of world your project calls for, right? You just saw a pool party on your screens in the soundstage. You can create a blizzard in a soundstage, a desert in a soundstage. These are huge, versatile, dare I say, magical spaces. Now, these sound stages to your left most recently have been busy with television work, right? Awesome series like Nicole Byer's Grand Crew on NBC. The series Hacks, which you can stream on Max, starring Emmy Award-winning actress Jean Smart. And one of my new favorite shows that's been out, Bel Air, just started its second season. Bel Air does a lot of work right here, and there are other parts of the front lot where I'll show you that they've done some work as well. But speaking of Bel Air, my buddy Jabari Banks, star of Bel Air, actually has a few words to say to you all. Take it away, Jabari.
You just got me water when you can. So what is you put egg on the cheese? You put cheese on the eggs, on the cheese. It's right. Whoa, how many seats do you think are in there? No, it's gotta be a lot. Yeah, we could probably fit the whole Bel Air cast and crew in there. No, we gotta get one of these for the mansion. For sure. You're lucky for y'all. The Bates family mansion lives right here on the Universal lot. Right. Some of Bel Air's most pivotal scenes have been filmed right here. Jabari, what have been your most memorable moments? I don't know. I mean, there's so many to choose from. You know, I love the foyer set where Will first enters, and at that moment, his life changes forever. What about you? Well, the Bel Air Academy gym set is here too, and I remember you having to sit in that cold ice bath for hours. Yeah. And that was really fun. I still can't feel my toes. No, but seriously, my favorite part of this lot is the talented crew who put it all together, from hair, wardrobe, makeup, set design, props, and transportation. Oh, yes! Yo, Transpo's the best. They have the sweetest rides for us to play with. Actually, speaking of, if we're gonna get a ride like this, we better go talk to Transpo now and let these people get back to their tour. Yeah, that sounds good. As long as I get to drive. Oh, not if I've got the keys.
And give me my tour back, boys. Give me my tour back. Gotta check out Bel Air. You can stream it on Peacock. It's an absolutely gorgeous show. And we have a long history of television magic right here at Universal Studios. The new show, Quantum Leap, sequel series to the original Quantum Leap, does a lot of work right here. Oh, folks, we have our first celebrity sighting off the left-hand side of the tram. Get those cameras out. You are going to see a big furry teddy bear holding a very dirty martini. That is my buddy Ted, star of the brilliant Seth MacFarlane's Ted and Ted 2. Ted also has his own TV show, which we worked on very hard here. Oh, we got an open soundstage in Soundstage 19 if you want to take a look back there, which we worked on very hard here at Universal Studios. Now, before any project even makes it to a soundstage or one of our large-scale exterior sets, it starts off as an idea in one of these bungalows to your left. These are our production bungalows, and what they are, they're administrative offices that handle anything involving pre-production, things like budgeting, script writing, casting, things like that. Any business that needs to happen before the cameras start rolling, and some of my personal heroes happen to work in these production bungalows. Jordan Peele, Monkey Paw Productions is right over here to our left, next to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's $7 Productions. You gotta check out Young Rock on Peacock. And last but not least, two of my cinematic heroes, Nelson Lee, cousin of Spike Lee, director of the Girls Trip movies, Blackmail Productions, right next to Alfred Hitchcock's old office, number 5195. Now, I have one more set of sound stages to show you before we leave the Universal front lot behind, and they're coming up on the left-hand side as well. You'll notice that these sound stages look a little different than the ones we've been previously passing. That's because we built administrative offices into the front of these sound stages right here. That's what all of those doors and windows are. And behind those offices is the actual soundstage space where we do our filming. Most recently, we were utilizing these sound stages for George Lopez's new sitcom, Lopez vs. Lopez, starring George Lopez and his very funny daughter, Maya Lopez. And we originally built them brand new to accommodate the Will and Grace reboot that came out a few seasons ago on NBC. And these sound stages can actually accommodate a live studio audience, the concept of which we actually created right here, because we were the first to give the public a behind-the-scenes look at movie magic. And as you look to your right, the real movie magic is coming into focus. Welcome to the Universal Backlot. This is where we have our large-scale exterior sets. The first group is called our Metropolitan sets, or our city sets, right? Now, fans of classic film and television, I want you to keep your eyes peeled because you're going to start to recognize certain locations from some of your favorite movies and TV shows. I'm a fan of the original Twilight Zone series, Rod Serling's Twilight Zone, 1958 through 1963, and the pilot episode called Where Is Everybody was shot right here in our Metropolitan sets in an area called Courthouse Square. Back to the Future fans, you may want to whip your cameras out because Courthouse Square you may recognize as Hill Valley, USA, coming up on the left-hand side of the tram. Welcome to Hill Valley, everybody. Right, as you can see, different years, different projects, different seasons, different cities, but the same Universal sets. How do we do that? We do that through things like art direction, set design, and set dressing, which we'll do a little deeper dive into later on in the tour. But I understand this is probably the closest a lot of you have ever been to a real live Hollywood set, right? Get a good look. What I want to do is I want to take an opportunity to tell you about the different types of sets that there are, so that you'll recognize them as the tour goes on. You got the nerdy guide, by the way. Don't worry, we're going to have fun, but I want to make it a little educational too, right? So, listen up. The first type of large-scale exterior set we have here is called a facade, all right? French for the word face. And a facade is pretty much just a big, fake wall. But think about this. If you put a camera in front of that big, fake wall at the right angle, you can make it look like an entire building. We do it here in Hollywood all the time. A step up from a facade is called a shell, and that is the majority of what you're looking at right now. These are called shells. They look like real buildings, 3, 4 walls, even a roof and a ceiling, but guess what? Take a look inside. What do you see? Absolutely nothing, right? You might see some work lights or a ladder, right? A few chairs. They're only meant to be shot from the outside. They're only used for exterior shots. The final type of set we have is called a fully practical set, and that is a set that you can use for exterior shots and interior shots as well. I have one of those that I'll show you a little later on in the tour. And as you can imagine, these city sets are very versatile. They can be any city we want them to be. What looks like brick, what looks like concrete, what looks like stone is just wood, plastic, plaster, and fiberglass. We want to be able to set these buildings on fire, blow them up if we want to. But although when we're not having them portray cities, we film American Ninja Warrior here as well. And when we are using them to portray a city, we're usually using them to portray the Big Apple.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
And here you all are, you made it to SAG, you made it to Hollywood! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, that's right, cheers. All right, so check it out. Set design, set dressing. Take a look at your screens right now. A part of this facade has a sign that says Ray's Pizza right above it, right? I'm from the East Coast. Whenever I see Ray's Pizza on a piece of set design, I automatically know, as a viewer, where I'm supposed to be, right? Now, a lot of times when you're watching your favorite TV shows and movies, a lot of these decisions are going over your head. But tiny decisions like that are not only intentional, they help tell a visual narrative. They help the director, they help the writer, they help the actor tell the story from a visual standpoint. As you all go home and watch your favorite TV shows and movies, I want that to be something that you keep in mind. I want to show you a few more filming examples of things that we've done here in our Metropolitan sets. And again, take a look at all of the versatility, right?
Place the door!
I'm in the shower!
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done now.
beautiful. When the Pinto fell and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. We dropped it from a crane.
Another thing I want you all to think about when it comes to the value of a fully vertically integrated studio. Vertically integrated meaning we take care of everything from pre-production all the way to post-production. Can you imagine if a film or TV show came to your house, knocked on your door and said, hey, we would love to drop a car on your street right in front of your house. Can we do that this afternoon? You'd probably say, well, write me a big fat check, but even then, no, you can't do that, right? That's where sets like this come in handy. Of course, directors have tons of resources. They can go on location, do all types of crazy things, but a fully integrated film studio where you have all the control you need, that's when situations like this come in handy. Dropped a car.
You dig like that in Chicago,
What'd I say, right?
not a good idea.
Not a good
When
idea.
people ask me, all of the movies I've ever done, what was the most satisfying and the most fun, I've got to say Blues Brothers. We got to sing, we got to dance, got to drive, and train with the best stunt people in the world, and got to be an actor and a writer. So it was a good piece of work.
Danny called John America's Guest because just he'd walk into anybody's house.
During the shooting of the movie, John was missing, we couldn't find him.
Danny went off looking for him and saw.
All right, folks, check it out. I just got the high sign. Please remain seated, arms and legs inside the vehicle. I am about to take you to Skull Island, home of King Kong. It looks like they're ready for us. Quick reminder, quick heads up. King Kong is going to shake us around quite a bit, okay? So hold on tight to your phones, to your belongings, to your friends and loved ones, to your good attitudes. Hold on tight to it all, because it's about to get real on this tram, all right? Here we go, here we go.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker.
Action!
I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It was great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality of Kong, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster. He is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's old, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature with Kong are his eyes. Kong's eyes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are like a window into his personality and his heart. He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and the various dinosaurs on Skull Island, so he's been beaten up, scarred, chewed up, spat out by these dinosaurs at various times, and he wears the scars of a lot of ancient battles.
About how we made that attraction possible. King Kong 360 3D, brought to you by Weta Special Effects, New Zealand special effects company and frequent collaborator with Mr. Peter Jackson. Now, this attraction is a perfect illustration of how well practical effects, those are effects you can see, hold, and touch. Just like our tram, guess what, folks? We were one of the practical special effects. Our tram pulled into that soundstage, hooked up to a set of hydraulics, and that is what shook us around. that experience, in conjunction with the CGI you saw on those 40-foot tall screens, is what creates that sense of movie magic.
With a project like the Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always look straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Heck of a ride indeed, and thank you very much, Peter Jackson and Weta Special Effects. All right, folks, we're going to switch gears a little bit here. You'll see what I did there in a second. Listen, if you or someone you know or love likes cars, whip out your cameras right now, because in just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to some of Universal Studios' most famous picture cars. Now, picture car is an actual Hollywood term, and it's a term used to describe any car or vehicle that you see on screen. It could be a boat, could be a helicopter, could be a tank. But if it's a vehicle and it's on screen, it is called a picture car. We've got some great ones lined up for you here today from some of our most popular franchises, including Back to the Future. Harry Potter fans, we've got the blue Ford Anglia that Ron used to pick up Harry in Chamber of Secrets, fighting that Whomping Willow. Also got some cars from our Fast and Furious and Jurassic Park franchises. Check out Fast 10, currently in theaters. Now, these picture cars are just like our sets. They're made out of very lightweight material. They're very versatile. We want to be able to do whatever we need to them for any given scene. As a matter of fact, coming up in a few moments, you're going to see a tank from one of our Transformers films. Guess what, folks? That tank is made of plywood. Looks like metal, doesn't it? Right? It is incredibly lightweight because, again, we may need to throw it off a cliff, blow it up, dump it in the ocean, or who knows, maybe even have a dinosaur step on it. Uh-oh, anything is possible in this town. Again, it's all about providing projects that come our way with the resources that they need to make their movie or television magic, whether it's space in one of our sound stages, one of our large-scale exterior sets, or use of our picture cars or our production bungalows. Now, speaking of movie magic, I have a very special guest who's going to help me welcome you to our next area. Take it away, Dr. Hammond.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I work here, but who doesn't love a warm welcome? Welcome to Jurassic Park, everybody. Steven Spielberg's 1993 classic adapted from the Michael Crichton novel of the same name. You're going to see some actual set pieces from the franchise, including the actual mobile lab from the Lost World Jurassic Park on the left-hand side of the tram. Now, I forgot to warn you all. We keep real dinosaurs here at Universal Studios, so there is a chance you might get eaten on this tour, all right? Arms and legs inside the vehicle. Don't try anything funny, okay? I had a guy last week, he stuck his arm out the tram. Man, this dinosaur came up and chomped down on his arm, yanked him off the tram, and ate him in front of everyone. Oh, it was terrible. Don't be that guy, okay? Arms and legs inside the vehicle. See, these dinosaurs, they tend to think this is a lunch boat. I have to remind them, no, it's a tour. I was talking to this velociraptor last week. I said, stop eating the guests. You know what? He said, stop bringing them here. I said, oh, boy, you want to eat everybody. Safety rules are more important. Check it out. I have a little bit of a scene from the Lost World Jurassic Park to share with you, also adapted from the Michael Crichton novel of the same name. This is going to be featuring that mobile lab that we just drove past on the left-hand side of the train as well. Oh, now she's calling somebody catch her. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? It's all right. She makes till the next movie. Check it out, folks. We're now in Old Mexico, where I'm going to give you a demonstration of one of Hollywood's most prevalent practical special effects, and that is weather. Keep your eyes off the left-hand side of the tram for this. Now, here in Hollywood, whenever we need lightning, we use strobe lights. Whenever we need thunder, we rely on speakers. And guess what, everyone? In just a few moments, I am going to treat you all to a lovely, relaxing Southern California downpour. Now, this downpour you're going to see in a few moments is brought to you by sprinklers, or as we call them here in Hollywood, rain rigs. These rain rigs shoot the water straight up gravity pulls the water right on down. Real rain is very difficult to film. It's usually coming down way too fast, and it's very difficult to light as well. So we make our own weather here in Hollywood. I forgot to warn you also, if you are in a blue seat, you might get wet. Those blue seats might get wet. They're all blue. Good luck. Welcome to the Flash Flood attraction here at the Universal Studio Tour. Water. That is our Flash Flood attraction, wowing audiences since 1968, making it the oldest attraction on the Studio Tour. Some of you may remember that area from the film Big Fat Liar.
You can't run the walk, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that.
Some really great projects utilized our Flash Flood area. Lady Gaga actually shot her Judas video in our Flash Flood area. Also, fellow Star Trek fans, Star Trek Picard did a lot of great filming right here in Old Mexico, as did the HBO series Westworld. And speaking of Westworld, behold, on either side of the tram, you are now looking at some of the oldest and most historically heavily utilized sets here on the Universal backlot. Welcome to our Western sets. Western entertainment was immensely popular all throughout the 20th century, specifically the 1940s through the 1960s, which is seen as the golden age of American Western entertainment. And a lot of folks that were our grandparents and great-grandparents' age, their eyes were glued to their television screens for shows like Bonanza, Wild Wild West, Have Gun Will Travel, Wagon Train, which we shot right here in Universal Studios. More recently, another one of my cinematic heroes, Quentin Tarantino, did a lot of filming for his film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which won an Oscar for art direction. Highly recommend you check that film out if you have not seen it. But you just name the Western star, Clint Eastwood, W.C. Fields, Robert Redford, they all walked these streets that you are on right this very moment. Super cool. Also, quick heads up for everyone. I want to let you know the tour is approximately at the halfway mark, all right? So I just want to remind everybody to please stay seated throughout the tour. The studio is private property, so if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, just reach up to pull that cord, but do remain seated. You're doing great so far. Keep up the good work. And now, a word from our sponsors. And yes, there are even commercials on tours.
Team's going head to head.
What about the workday bus?
We love Jimmy, and Jimmy loves the Studio Tour. For my guests with eagle eyes, on the other side of these trees to your left, you're going to see a body of water. This body of water is actually a filming location called Park Lake. We can film scenes with boats on there, and Park Lake is actually home to one of my favorite Universal classic monsters. Does anyone guess? Shout it out. Which Universal classic monster lives in Park Lake? Huh? Jaws? No. Who else? Who else? There we go. I heard it up front. The creature from the Black Lagoon, 1947. Very good in the front row. Oh, look at that face, ladies. What do you think? Swipe right? Swipe left? What should we do? Swipe right? He works at Universal. He's got a job. We'll swipe right on. We'll swipe right. Love the Gill Man. All right, folks, as you can see, we've left the Old West behind, and now it is my pleasure to welcome you to Europe. Welcome to the section of our Universal backlot that we call Little Europe, large-scale exterior sets that we obviously utilize for scenes that call for either a European or sometimes a fairy tale feel. Now, some of you may recognize Little Europe as the Kingdom of Genovia from The Princess Diaries 2. It was also the fairy tale kingdom in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, and Disney also used it for the mysterious Benedict Society. Now again, Little Europe is great because we're really up close and personal into these sets, right? So get a look inside some of these shells, right? You're going to see some work equipment. You're going to see lots of different things out. All of these are meant to be shot only from the outside. Now, one of my favorite NBC comedies to come out in the past 10, 15 years did a lot of filming here, and that show is The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Ted Danson is brilliant. Kristen Bell is great as always. You can stream The Good Place on Netflix, I believe. Now check this out. Those exact same sets that we drove through and that you saw on your screens, that very happy place, believe it or not, was also home to our Universal classic monster movies, right? Little Europe is where we shot so many of the classic films that helped make our studio what it is today. Fellow horror fans, I am also a scare actor here at Halloween Horror Nights. For those of you that come to HHN every season, you know that our classic monsters always make their way into our programming. Dracula, Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, Creature from the Black Lagoon. The reason why these movies are so important to us as a studio is look at these years, right? 31, 32, 35. These films kept our studio open during the Great Depression. One thing people didn't stop doing was pursue entertainment. And that's why we love our Universal Classic Monsters so much. Horror fans, please make it to HHN this year. No spoilers, I know what's going on, but I can't tell you, and it's going to be quite awesome, so keep an eye out. All right, everybody, I unfortunately have a little bit of bad news, all right? Apparently, there is a dangerous, hungry shark on the loose in the park. Now, one thing this shark and I actually have in common is that we both love to eat ribs. And if you want to keep your ribs this afternoon, I suggest you keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle, because I'm about to take you to Amity Island, home of Jaws. Now, once we pull into Amity Island, we're going to be keeping our eyes off the starboard side of the tram, all right? Starboard is right on a boat, port is left. We're going to keep our eyes off the starboard side of the tram. A little bit of an intro. Jaws, Steven Spielberg's 1975 blockbuster masterpiece, adapted from the Peter Benchley novel of the same name. Avid readers on board, if you have not read this novel, I highly recommend you do, just to see how Mr. Spielberg improved on already fantastic literature. No offense to Mr. Benchley. Starring Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, and Roy Scheider. There are actually 4 films in the Jaws film series: Jaws 1, Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, and Jaws 4, The Revenge. I highly recommend you check out Jaws 4. It is the only film in which you will see and hear a shark roar. Guess what, folks? Sharks don't roar, but they do in Jaws: The Revenge. We're going to be hanging out for a little bit because I believe Jaws is chomping down on some tour guests at the moment. I can't hear any screaming. Maybe he's moved on to dessert. But while I'm here and while we're this close to Little Europe, I'm not sure if you all are aware of this. I certainly wasn't aware of this when I started working here, and I'm a film nerd to the max. There is a Spanish language Dracula film that came out about the same year, about a year and a half right after Bela Lugosi's version. And I have to say, by the way, if you are interested in purchasing any of the films or TV shows that you see on our tour today, you can head to uphe.com, or you could simply head to one of our stores in the park and they can help you out. But believe it or not, this version is actually so much better than the original. I highly recommend you check it out if you can.
I am Dracula.
Soy Dracula. What? What? So cool. Beautiful filmmaking produced by Carl Laemmle Jr., our founder's son. All right, folks, here we are. Welcome to Amity Island. Keep an eye out for that shark. He is here somewhere. He's here somewhere. Let's see. Let's see. There he is. There he is right there. little further up the pier where hopefully we're a bit safer than he was. Check it out, folks. There are some gasoline barrels off the starboard side of the tram. Reminder, no smoking on the tour. No smoking on the tour. Now, where is that shark? Oh, there he is back there. Oh, who was that? I said no smoking. A lot of times, the shark he was using for the film didn't even work.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark is frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited.
The shark worked well enough for a while there, and everything was going. So I really owe the shark a lot.
So some of you may also recognize Amity Island to your left as Cabot Cove, the setting of one of television's great detective shows and one of my childhood favorites, Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. I spent many a sick day as a young boy eating chicken noodle soup helping this lady solve crimes. Highly recommend you check it out if you have not seen it. Next up, I'm going to show you some of our residential sets. To your left, you're going to see what looks like a suburban block. This is our Elm Street, sets that look like homes. Davy's house from Never Have I Ever is on this block, as is Boo Radley's house from To Kill a Mockingbird. And as we look to our right up this hill, you're going to see our Chicken Ranch house. Now, this Chicken Ranch house is an example of a house that you can shoot from the outside, and also you could go on the inside and shoot interior shots in there as well. This is called a practical set. Fellow horror fans, this house right here was Rob Zombie's House of 1,000 Corpses. Super duper creepy. And right behind that Chicken Ranch house, you're going to see an example of one of our facades, or our big fake walls that we use here in Hollywood. All right, home lovers, I've got some more houses for you, and check it out. Desperate Housewives fans, whip out those cameras, because I'm about to take you up and down Wisteria Lane, or as we call it, here on the back lot, our Colonial Street. Now this really is one of my favorite spots on the back lot, because when if you close your eyes for just a second and then open them back up, it really transports you, doesn't it? It really takes you somewhere. You really could be on a suburban block. That speaks to the power, again, of art directions, set design, set dressing, the color of these homes, right? The placement of all these fake trees and bushes you see, right? Everything you see here is artificial, but a lot of work goes into creating that sense of authenticity. Again, next time you're watching your favorite TV show or movie, think about all the work that goes into all of the places that all of the various aspects you're looking at are. We're going to take a look at a few more filming examples, but heads up, classic television fans, at the very end of this block, house number 1431, is 1313 Mockingbird Lane, home of the Munsters. And right next to 1313 Mockingbird Lane, you're going to see Jimmy Stewart's house from the film Harvey. Quick heads up for folks, I want to let you know we got about 10 to 15 minutes left of the tour, okay? We're going to be heading back to the theme park shortly. Remember to pull that cord above your head if you need any assistance, but do remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle. You're doing great so far. Keep up the good work.
I've been on that tour so many times since I was a kid, and I just love it every time.
The first time I ever went on Universal lot, we did the tour.
I grew up in Los Angeles, and that was like the place to go and see Jaws.
I got my introduction to Universal Studios through the tour, so then to be in the movies and seeing the trams drive by is very overwhelming.
One of the coolest things actually about shooting for Universal is sometimes you get to shoot on the lot and then you look over and it's like there's Jaws, like there's the flash flood and all those trams are riding around. It's the coolest thing ever.
1979. Back then, tram drivers were kind of a little reckless, a little crazy. There was no restriction on cars going anywhere. We used to drive all over and kind of duel with them back and forth.
I have so many amazing memories of the lot when we were shooting Back to the Future.
Being here brings me back in time, I'll tell you that. The tram would come through, and tourists would see Michael J. Fox, and they're taking their camera snap. So one day, Michael J. Fox had his own camera, and every time tourists came through and snapped their pictures, he ran out and he started taking pictures of them.
Speaking of taking pictures, car fans, I've got some more cars lined up for you here on the back lot. This time they're going to be coming up on the right-hand side of the tram. Going to see a car from our Fast and Furious franchise. Also got my buddy Bumblebee front and center. My buddy Bumblebee from the Transformers films. I like to call our picture cars our automotive actors. That's pretty much what they are in essence. All right, folks, if you haven't gathered, I know a lot about movies and I love my job. I'm about to take you to my favorite spot in this entire Universal backlot. Welcome to the Bates Motel, the setting of Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 classic Psycho, starring Janet Leigh, mother of Academy Award-winning actress Jamie Lee Curtis, also starring John Gavin, Vera Miles, and the brilliant Tony Perkins as Norman Bates. Why, there's Norman right there. What's he up to? Huh. What's he doing? That's a 1957 Ford Custom 300, by the way. Oh, I think he heard me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Trouble, trouble. Free haircuts at the Bates Motel off Janet Lee Drive, Universal City. Care of Norman Bates himself. Line up so sharp your head falls off. Fade so smooth your life fades away. Box braids and lace front is available by appointment. Norman's a great stylist. He did my girlfriend's hair the other day. Then he killed Alfred Hitchcock's classic Psycho, released in the year 1960. The score, composed by American composer-conductor Bernard Herrmann. His score using only violins, violas, cellos, and basses. Just listen to how luscious and creepy these strings are. All right, folks, behold the destruction on either side of the tram. You are now on the set of Steven Spielberg's 2005 epic War of the Worlds, adapted from the H.G. Wells novel of the same name. This is a real airplane you're looking at off the left-hand side of the tram. This is a real decommissioned Boeing 747 that Mr. Spielberg purchased for the production.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Eyes on me. Now listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Stay on closed.
Robbie, get in. Get in.
Ooh, he's a lot nicer about that than my dad would have been, I tell you that much, although I'd have already been in the car getting what's going on. 2005, Steven Spielberg, War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, Tim Robbins in a very creepy cameo towards the end of this film. Another one of the cool parts about working here is knowing what a fantastic cinematic legacy one Mr. Steven Spielberg has left on us. If you look to your right, you're actually going to see we're on Steven Spielberg Drive. That's right, we named an entire road after him. We're all aware that he is one of the greatest directors of all time. I highly recommend you check out the film The Fabelmans. I believe you can stream it on Peacock, but if you haven't seen it, find a way to see it, because it's a great example of how a young mind is able to break into an industry and really discover their passion. Steven Spielberg sees this as one of his cinematic birthplaces, right? One of his first homes. But you know what? I think I'll let Mr. Spielberg tell this story himself, if you don't mind, right?
When I was about, 16 years old, I began hanging out at Universal during my summers. When I went to college nearby, I continued to come on the lot and try to become a director. So Universal sort of is my birthplace. This is the place I consider my first home. And I love it. I keep coming back.
Gorgeous look of the San Gabriel Mountains to your right. California's beautiful San Fernando Valley happens to be one of the largest hubs for film and television production in the world. All right, everybody, now in a few moments, coming up on the left-hand side of the tram, you're going to see what looks like a parking lot. But believe it or not, this is actually a filming location called Falls Lake. Everywhere you see a white truck, we're able to fill this entire area up with water. It takes millions of gallons, and sometimes it takes us days and days to fill it up. I'm gonna pull up some filming examples, some of which you may recognize. TLC shot their waterfalls video right here at Falls Lake, and we're able to use that blue screen to your left as big blue wall as a blue screen. There you go, Jaws the Revenge, the film with the roaring shark. Gotta check it out, starring Mario Van Peebles and Michael Caine. Michael Caine, fantastic movie, lots of fun. All right, folks, so I have one more location to take you to before we conclude our tour today. I'm about to take you to Sullivan's Garage, home of Dom and the family from the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, I have a confession to make. You've all gathered that I'm an avid reader. Well, I have not yet read any of the Fast and Furious books. That is because there aren't any. But the moment they drop, I will be first in line. I have, however, seen Fast 10 in theaters now. You got to check it out, especially if it... Wait, hello? Hello? One moment, I'm getting some type of transmission. Hello? Hello?
Look, this might be more serious than I thought. What just happened? This is a secure line. Who are you?
I'll tell you who I am, boy. I'm the reason bad guys use a nightlight. I'm the reason the boogeyman begs his mama to look under his bed. And I'm the reason you just lost control of this whole operation. My name is Special Agent Luke Hobbs of the U.S. Diplomatic Security Service. And as of 16.9 seconds ago, I'm the man in charge.
The hell you are?
Let me clue you in on two things, sweet cheeks. One, there's a high-value witness from the Federal Protection Program aboard your vehicle. And two, international crime syndicate led by Owen Shaw is honing in on this vehicle to take that witness out. Shaw's as ruthless as they come. He'll stop at nothing to eliminate his target.
My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you with Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot.
All right, look, guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay. I'll meet you in there.
Pierce, FBI, don't move. Neil, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not...
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got you. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate.
Shaw traced us. Hobbs can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your foot. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Alright, folks, class is on. Hold on tight. It's about to get fast and furious up in here.
This is our turn.
Now, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
That's right, you can join us anytime. They're a good group indeed. Well, check it out, folks. This concludes the Universal Studios Hollywood Tour for the afternoon. Hope you had a good time. Hope you learned a little bit more about how some of your favorite television shows and movies are made. Listen, we know exactly what we're doing. We've been doing this for over 100 years. Carl Emily opened up this studio to create movies that make people laugh, cry, and hide behind their hands in terror. And we're very proud to continue that legacy to this day. Check it out if you're an annual pass holder. Thank you for being an annual pass holder. If you are not, that's okay. You can take your current ticket up to the box office, have it converted to an annual pass. You can come to the tour with Rocky the Flying Squirrel whenever you want to. Again, if you're interested in purchasing any of the TV shows or movies, head to one of our stores in the park. Last but not least, download the Universal Studios Hollywood app, where you can check out park opening, closing times. You'd also interact with Super Nintendo World. I want to have us a tram unload in just a few moments, so please remain seated, arms and legs inside the vehicle until those doors are open. Thank you for being a fantastic crowd. Let's roll some credits.